One of our client gave us this equation: performance is equal to talent into attitude square. And our attitude is very critical to our performance and also to our team performance. And it has an exponential impact on performance. So we had a question: can we zero down to a single attitude that is the biggest game changer in any team performance? And we found one. We found that the attitude to grow together makes all the difference. When I'm working with you, what is going on in my mind? Do I want you to grow, or I want you to just do your duty so I can grow? So we meet three types of people in our life. One type of people discourage us from doing our best, from trying something new or risking something, or they also sometimes discourage us by delaying things or not being direct with us or being sarcastic with us in public, etc. Then there is another set of people who are more or less indifferent. So they don't care, they are not invested in our progress, they just do their own duty and they would like you to do your own duty. So, so the connection is very transactional kind of connection with them. And the third set of people who really encourage us, and I'm sure each one of you would have met these people in your life. So they sometimes mentor us, they sometimes guide us, they sometimes help us, they sometimes push us to do more than what we can do. They also sometimes confront us, they give us feedback, and they find various ways for us to grow. So I'm sure each one of you would have met these three types of people in your life. What matters is this distribution. And similarly for any team, what is this distribution in that team will really decide what level of success and true potential this team can reach. This exercise, which we are going to do, is actually a check of this attitude itself. That where is our team with respect to encouraging and discouraging each other, and where am I with respect to how many people in this team feel encouraged by me, discouraged by me, or feel transactional. So, how has been my attitude and behavior with this team? So, this exercise will capture this in a quantitative form. So let us understand how this whole index and the concept works. So imagine there are five people in a team and each of them deal with each other. And if you draw arrows between them, there are 20 arrows here, which is 5 into 4, 20. And between any two people, you actually see there are two arrows. Why? Because if between you and me, there are two data points. How do I feel dealing with you, and how do you feel dealing with me? And if I can capture these two data points between each pair, and that combination of those data points can give us a very good idea of how well this team is growing each other. So while dealing with any person in the team, I can have one of these feelings. So one feeling that I feel encouraged by the person. So whenever I meet him, I feel energized, I feel upbeat, I feel very confident of myself, and sometimes I actually feel big or I feel growth, and I really look forward and I'm enthusiastic to meet that person. Then another type of feeling can be I feel indifferent. So neither energized nor drained. It is kind of a very transactional, cut and dry kind of a connection. You do your duty, I do my duty. I'm not interested in investing in your progress, and I'm also not expecting you to invest in my progress. So that is indifferent type of connection. And this third one is where I feel discouraged by dealing with you. So I feel either drained by your statements, or I feel sometimes small or run down, or I feel exhausted in terms of I followed up so much with you. You consume so much of my energy because of the way you deal with me, or I feel burdened by carrying you in the team. Sometimes I may actually feel guilty of being very direct to you because I feel that you are not able to handle any tough feedback. Or I may also be discouraged by a person playing politics, that he doesn't tell me what is important for me and what is the issue between him and me, and he talks it to everybody else. So that can also be a discouraging behavior. And in some sense I would really like to avoid this other person, but I'm actually doing it under compulsion because he's part of this team, so I can't help it. This is how it will work. Let's say we have five people, P1 to P5, and we put all of them in a common room, and we'll ask P1 that, how is your connection with P2, P3, P4, and P5? And we are going to ask it in a secret ballot. So P1 is not really embarrassed to tell his real feeling. So let's say what P1 said. So P1 says that he feel encouraged by P2 and P5, feels discouraged by P3, and feels a transaction connection with P4. So we asked P2 also the same question. Then we asked P3, P4, and P5 also the same question. And so now we have these data points, and since we did it in a secret ballot way, so we won't know who said what, but we know exactly what was said for each person. So so now if you look further and drill on, how is P1 doing in this set? So now if you see, P1 seems to be net discouraging three people in his team, and he has a transaction connection with one person. So if you now convert this into a chart, it will look like this. And if you see P1, we calculate a kind of a Rejoice score, and P1 score is minus 75. That means net P1 is discouraging 75% of his team members. He may be a star performer, but when it comes to his attitude with his team members, this is where the score is. And if you look at P5, so P5 is encouraging 75% of his team members. And the result of this exercise, which we are going to do with you, will look something like this. This is the main result. And in this sample, if you see, there are 16 bars. Each bar has a code below it. So P16 is on the leftmost and P02 is on the rightmost. And if you look at P16, what it says is that two people in the team feel encouraged by him, four people feel indifferent, and nine people feel discouraged by him. So his net score is 2 minus 9 upon 15, which is 47, minus 47%. While if you look at P2, 13 people feel encouraged by him, one person feel indifferent, and one person feel discouraged by him. So net 13 minus 1 upon 15, his score is 80%. And this in this exercise, these codes would be displayed publicly, and each one of you would be given your own personal code, so you know exactly where do you stand in this team. And the whole idea is, more you are on the right side, more you are contributing uh, to the encouraging relationships, and more you are on the left side, more you will be draining the team from its performance. At least in that's how the your behavior and attitude is showing up here. And only the team leader will get this chart with all the names. If we combine the previous chart into a pie chart and add up all the greens, reds, and yellows, so you will actually see a chart like this. So there were 16 people in the previous chart. So that means there's 16 into 15, 240 relationships. And so this chart shows how these 240 relationships have uh, panned out. And so what it shows is that there are 106, 44% of the relationship in the room are encouraging type, 39% are indifferent, and which means 39% of the relationships in the room are that people are not engaged with each other. They may be engaged in their job, they may be engaged with others, but they are not engaged with each other here. And the final, this red pie, is there are 17% discouraging relationships in the room, 40 elephants in the room, which means there are 40 relationships where there is a jam in the communication, and it needs to be given a priority to solve it. And so we've come out with a single number, which is we call Rejoice index, which is percentage encouraging minus discouraging. So in this case, it is 27%. It actually means that this team, with respect to growing each other, is playing at 27% of its potential. So potentially, it can deliver a 3x performance if it seriously thinks in transforming its relationship with each other. These are the steps we are going to follow for this exercise after completion of this video. Step number one, you will be given a special pack as shown in this picture. You can see the front and back side of this pack. So this has your name written on it. It also has all the people who you deal with in the company. So it has separate cards for each of the person you deal with. This number may range from 20 to 40, 50, or whatever has shown up in the mapping of relationships in your company. It also has a secret code. So keep this secret code carefully, because this code will let you know where exactly do you stand when the whole chart of the company is would the result chart of the company would be mailed to you. So first step is you collect the pack and sign. So we know that you have taken the pack. Second step is you have to separate all these cards given to you into four categories. Do I feel encouraged by this person? Do I feel indifferent and transactional with this person? Or do I feel discouraged and disempowered by this person? And there's a fourth category we have included specially because there are few relationships which would be very, very new. So that fourth category is insufficient interaction, that I have not got any time to form an opinion about this person. Now you can do it privately. Just make sure that you are still in the room. So do it privately, be careful, and be authentic, because this exercise will reveal to all of us where exactly we are as a team, and specifically which person is contributing what to the collaboration levels. And once you have separated this clearly, then the next step is, there are four boxes. One box is for is has actually a green label saying encouraged. Second box has a yellow label saying indifferent, which is transactional. Third box is a red label, which is disencouraged. And there's a fourth box, which is a white label, which says insufficient or no interaction. So put your votes properly and then sign on the voting done sheet. So we are sure that you have casted your vote. So we will leave this final sheet on the screen at the end of this presentation. So there are four categories. First category is denoted by a green color plus, where you feel encouraged, energized, upbeat, confident, big while dealing with this person. Second category is indifferent, 0, where you feel a transactional, cut and dry, only work related relationship. Third is discourage, red category, where you feel drained, small, run down, exhausted, burdened, guilty, and deep inside you avoid this person, but you have to work with this person. And finally, this fourth category, be very careful that this is only for when you have insufficient interaction to form any opinion. So this is a limited no interaction category. So these are the four categories you separate them into. Now, few things, very important things to remember while classifying. Classify based on your overall experience with that person and not just the recent. If you were recently had a tiff with a person, do not generalize that relationship into a discouraged relationship. Think, step back and look at the overall interaction. Next, If you're in a doubt, should I mark him in an encourage category or indifferent, I'm not sure, then choose a conservative option, which is the indifferent one. If I am not able to decide, do I feel indifferent or discouraged by the person, choose the discouraged option. It will help in the sense that it will push the person to do something about his behavior with others and be decisively encouraging. And now another thing to remember is that if a person is very tough, contradicting, confronting to you, yet you grew and you progressed because of the interaction, then choose plus. And so you would know that this, I avoid going to this person, but I know whenever I've gone to him, he he has questioned me, confronted me in different ways, but I have grown net net, and I can sense that intent in this person to grow me. So in that case, choose plus. Now the other thing to remember is if a person is generally very nice, and the person may be draining energy by avoiding expressing his own views, being or avoiding being direct or authentic, so then choose minus. So or maybe zero. Very very critical, that person is very nice but he's not direct, he's indirectly talking to others and not directly talking to the person who matters or who's important in that conversation. And the idea is that being nice does not make you encouraging, being nice does not make you progressive. So so we want to really separate being nice and being encouraged in this category. It is very important to understand this distinction between which relationship you categorize as an indifferent relationship and where you categorize it as limited or no interaction. So if you may be interacting with a person regularly, but the way the relationship has developed, you find it is very transactional, cut and dry, then mark the person in the yellow indifferent category. If you have not really interacted at all or in a very very limited way with that person, that you can't form an opinion, then put the person in white on no limited interaction category. So these number of votes which are given in whites will show up separately in the chart. So in summary, while classifying, remember the following 5 points. First, classify the relationships on an overall experience and avoid the recency effect. Second, when you are in doubt, choose a conservative option. A tough person can also be encouraging in the plus category because you grew. A nice person may be in the minus or zero category if that person avoids expressing authentically. And finally, if there is an insufficient interaction with the person, then put that person in the limited no interaction category. So this is a, by design, it's totally confidential process. No one will ever know what rating you did for whom. If you rated your boss or a peer or a junior as a discourager or encourager, no one will know. They will know their own scores, but they won't know who gave it what. And so therefore it is very very critical to be candid and truthful. This only then this exercise would help us. So remember that, classify based on your true experience. This is the final reference slide which you can use to categorize all the cards which you have into these 4 categories. And all the best, and thank you for your time.